What is up, YouTube, and welcome to episode 79 of Chaos Daily. We're almost at 80. Wow, let's get into it. Not much to go over today. The LCD screen is well, it still kind of works, but not well enough to actually do anything. You can see here, I tried to print this last print yesterday. 1, 2, 3, fourth time's the charm. I think it messed that one up. Yeah, it was supposed to do this one time before, but I ended up having to turn the exposure times per layer up a few seconds to get this one to work. These ones I tried by just moving it around on the bed to see where it was going. My exposure times are normally a little bit higher than recommended just because I do all that thin-walled stuff. For this sort of stuff, I turn it down usually to about the same as the recommended exposure times, and usually a second or two more, depending on what it is I'm printing, how thin the walls are, and what kind of strength I want out of the part when I remove it, so that I can remove support material easier. So yeah, I dial all these settings based on the part and the support material that's on it and how it mechanically is going to come apart. So yeah, that's a bit of trial and error, and you learn these sort of things as you go by playing with different settings. So yeah, that was a bit annoying that I had to do it 4 times to get it to work, but yeah, we got there in the end. There it is, sitting in the bottom of the UV curing chamber, and it kind of works. The turntable has a bit where it gets a bit sticky, and it stops. With the printer out of action until the new LCD screen arrives, and I haven't heard back from Peopoly. I won't hear back until Monday, tomorrow, I think, on whether or not I'll be getting just a regular LCD screen. Probably will get a regular LCD screen, or if they'll be sending me the new Prime LCD screen, 5.5K resolution. Very good. So in the meantime, if I can't be printing, I need to keep myself busy with other stuff. So I've been doing a bit of design work. Yesterday, I relaxed most of the day. I just, spent the day on YouTube watching videos. But at the end of the day, I kind of got bored, so I jumped into Inventor and I designed another plane. I have a problem, please help. Oh my god. But yeah, so yeah, I made this fun jet thing. It's pretty cool. I don't like the intakes the way they are, but I did learn a few new techniques for making these intakes and integrating positive and negative surfaces to create both cuts as well as overhangs and weird geometry and stuff. So I learned some new tricks that I'm going to be playing with going forward. Boundary layer intakes are actually pretty difficult to get right. We'll play with that another day. I've had this itch to do something cool, and I've been looking, I'm always looking at morphing wing geometry, compliant mechanisms. How do we design wings that bend and deform rather than having flaps or ailerons and stuff like that? It's something that it's sort of like a blue sky project of mine, something I want to try in the future that's very technically difficult, but I have now the tools to do that with things like Siraya tenacious resin. This flexible resin is perfect for making compliant structures, and especially if you go mixing it with the other resins, you can fine-tune how flexible the material is for a given part. So printing multiple parts in such a way that when you epoxy all the parts together in the wing, it all becomes one part, but parts of it are made from a different material property, and you can get compliant mechanisms, bending surfaces, rigid surfaces, all working together in a solid structure with no bolts or stuff holding it together. So that's something I want to play with in the future, but I've got a lot of thinking to do on how I would approach that, how would I print the individual parts. Printing this tenacious is actually pretty easy because at the beginning, it starts out really stiff and quite hard, almost like the blue. But then over a couple of days, it starts to soften, and then it just goes so soft. We'll leave it there for today's episode, just giving you guys an update, what I've been up to, what's going on with the printer. The UV curing chamber is now done. We have the temperature control system for the printer working. So we're pretty much set up, aside from the LCD that has now died, we're pretty much set up and ready to go. So as soon as the new LCD arrives, we are going to be hitting the ground running. We have the design finalized for the Albatross, and I have a whole bunch of really cool projects in the work. So that will all be shown here on the dailies as well as the new channel. So yeah, as always, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to it all. Go check out my other channel and follow me on Twitter. I post a load of stuff on there. If you can, go check out my Patreon. It really does help. As always, I've been Chaos, and until next time, expect the unexpected, and I will see you guys later.
And a special thank you to all my patrons that help support the channel. If you would also like to support the channel, there's a link in the description.